Have you ever wondered how a simple pocket change coin could end up being worth millions of dollars, sparking the imagination of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters all over the world? Well, today we are diving deep into the fascinating and jaw-dropping story of the 1997 PUSA $quarter coin. A coin that most people spent without a second thought during the late 1990s, yet has been rumored and documented in the collecting world to have a face value skyrocketing to an unbelievable $13 million. And in this script we are going to uncover how such a small everyday object became one of the most sought-after rarities in history, what mistakes and errors in production contributed to its incredible worth, what role the Philadelphia Mint played in its creation, what makes this specific year stand apart from others, and why collectors are willing to pay life-changing sums of money to secure just one specimen of this legendary coin. So buckle up, because we are about to take you on a journey that merges history, minting technology, error analysis, and the high-stakes drama of coin auctions where fortunes are made and lost in mere minutes. And when we talk about the 1997 $quarter, we are not just talking about a simple 25-cent piece, but a historical artifact that reflects an era of American minting transition, a time when the U.S. Mint was preparing for the massive 50-state quarters program that would begin in 1999, making the 1997 issue somewhat of a bridge between the traditional Washington quarter and the new designs that would come later. And that bridge year came with its own quirks, challenges, and production mysteries that gave rise to the possibility of error coins slipping through the cracks, which in turn ignited the passion of collectors who knew that even the smallest deviation from perfection could turn an ordinary quarter into a priceless treasure. Now let's imagine the Philadelphia Mint in 1997, buzzing with machines, the thundering sound of presses striking planchets at lightning speed, human inspectors trying to catch mistakes, and yet with millions upon millions of coins produced, it was inevitable that flaws, anomalies, and mistrikes would occur. And for the 1997 $quarter, those flaws became legendary. We are talking about double die obverse, where Washington's profile shows ghostly outlines due to misaligned hubs, off-center strikes where the rim is missing or distorted, clipped planchets where chunks of the metal blank were missing before striking, broad strikes where the coin spreads beyond its intended boundary due to collar malfunctions, and even transitional errors where planchets from different compositions may have been accidentally used, making the coin not only rare but nearly unique in certain cases. And once these error coins reached circulation, sharp-eyed collectors and lucky spenders who found them in their change realized they had stumbled upon gold in disguise. And as the years passed and the 1997 $quarter became older and harder to find, the price skyrocketed, climbing from hundreds to thousands and eventually to the stratospheric figure of $13 million for the most pristine and dramatic error-laden specimens. But the story does not stop there, because beyond errors lies the mystique of condition and grading, where a coin graded mint state 67 or higher by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC becomes a near impossible prize, since very few coins survived circulation without scratches, nicks, and tarnish, making the discovery of a flawless 1997 $quarter almost as rare as finding a diamond in the rough. And when such coins appear at major auctions, they ignite bidding wars among top collectors, museums, and investors, with hammer prices shocking even seasoned experts. And while it may seem unbelievable to outsiders, to the numismatic community it makes perfect sense, because rarity combined with demand creates value, and the 1997 $quarter embodies that equation perfectly, being a coin from a significant pre-state quarters year, linked with famous minting errors, shrouded in myths of transitional planchets, and cloaked in the allure of potential undiscovered varieties still hidden in circulation. Think of how many coin jars, piggy banks, and old cash registers may still hold one of these treasures, waiting to be recognized, waiting to change someone's life forever. And that is what makes this coin story so captivating, because it blends chance, history, and human curiosity into one. Every detail of this quarter becomes a clue, from the placement of the mint mark P beneath Washington's profile, to the sharpness of the eagle's wings on the reverse, to the texture of the rim and the clarity of the strike, each feature telling experts whether they are looking at an ordinary piece of change or a multi-million-dollar gem. And as stories spread through newspapers, TV segments, and now viral internet platforms, the legend of the 1997 $quarter continues to grow, inspiring new collectors to check their pocket change and veterans to refine their searches, fueling a collective treasure hunt across the nation and beyond. Because coins are not just money but time capsules of national history, symbols of artistry, and markers of the minting craft. And in this case, the 1997 $quarter is also a ticket to unimaginable fortune. Now let's dive deeper into specific error types that Magnify this coin's value. For instance, the double die obverse can produce doubling in Washington's eye, nose, and lettering around Liberty or In God We Trust, creating a striking visual that collectors crave, while off-center strikes ranging from minor misalignments to dramatic half-blank coins draw immense interest, especially when the date remains visible. Clip planchets, particularly curved clips, reveal the industrial imperfections of planchet preparation, turning manufacturing mishaps into prized collectibles. Broad strikes without the collar show the coin stretching unnaturally wide and flat, while transitional errors may feature the quarter struck on planchets intended for other denominations like a nickel or foreign coin, mistakes that escape unnoticed only in rare moments of oversight, yet these rare survivors fetch mind-bending figures when authenticated. And beyond physical errors, there are also proof-like specimens that may have been struck with unusually polished dies, resulting in a mirror-like finish that sets them apart from standard circulation strikes, making them objects of prestige. And we cannot ignore how condition factors into every dollar of value, since a coin's grade determines whether it is worth hundreds or millions, mint state 65 being rare, mint state 67 nearly impossible, and anything higher practically legendary, with prices scaling exponentially at each step. So it is no wonder why stories of a single 1997 quarter dollar reaching a value of $13 million have captivated global attention, because this is the kind of story that blends mystery, possibility, and reality into one thrilling narrative, a narrative that continues to evolve as more people examine their change and as the few known specimens become locked away in private collections or museums, raising the stakes for those still hunting. And in this journey we see how a single quarter not only represents monetary value but also human fascination with rarity, luck, and discovery. It is not merely about 25 cents becoming millions but about the dream that anyone could stumble upon such wealth in the most ordinary of places, a coin jar, a grocery store counter, or a forgotten drawer. So next time you hold a 1997 quarter dollar, pay attention, because it may hold more than just face value. It may carry the weight of history and the potential of fortune. And with that we wrap up this incredible story of one of the most valuable coins in American history, the 1997 USA quarter dollar with a face value of $13 million. And if you enjoyed this deep dive into the world of hidden treasures and historical rarities, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more amazing stories where history, mystery, and money collide. Next. Today, as we dive deep into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatic history, a story that takes us to the year 1998 and revolves around a coin that at first glance looks like nothing more than an ordinary 25-cent piece, but as collectors and experts know, some of these coins contain rare errors and striking mistakes that have made them worth an unbelievable amount of money. In fact, as much as $5.7 million, and today we are going to explore exactly why the 1998 quarter dollar coin has captured so much attention, what makes it unique, the specific types of errors and possibilities that transformed it from simple pocket change into a multi-million-dollar rarity, and why collectors are willing to pay so much to obtain one. So let's begin by welcoming all of you to this engaging journey into the mysteries of minting mistakes, hidden rarities, and the sheer thrill of discovering that something so small could carry such immense value. Now when we talk about the 1998 quarter, we are referring to a coin struck at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced millions of quarters that year as part of the long-running Washington Quarter series. And while most of these coins went into circulation without any issue, a select handful came off the presses with flaws that went unnoticed at the time but later turned them into treasures. Errors in coins can take many forms, from double strikes to off-center images, from missing elements to planchet flaws, from die clashes to misaligned mint marks. And when it comes to the 1998 quarter, some of these rare mistakes became extremely valuable, starting with double die errors where the design elements appear doubled, often seen in the lettering of Liberty, the motto In God We Trust, or the date itself. And in some 1998 quarters this doubling is so clear that collectors immediately recognize its rarity. The doubling gives the coin a surreal, almost ghost-like quality, and experts agree that these varieties can reach astronomical values when they are crisp and well preserved. Another type of error found in this coin is the off-center strike, which occurs when the blank planchet is not perfectly aligned in the coin press, resulting in a quarter where part of the design is missing and a crescent-shaped blank area appears on the coin's surface. The more dramatic the misalignment, the rarer and more valuable the piece becomes. And with the 1998 quarter, some examples have been documented where as much as half the design is missing, making them eye-catching collectibles. Equally fascinating are clip planchet errors where the blank metal disc used to make the coin is improperly cut, leaving a curved or straight clip in the coin's edge, A 1998 P quarter with a major clip is a dramatic sight and can command huge premiums in the marketplace. Then we move on to die cracks and cuds. Errors that occur when the dies used to strike the coins become damaged. Die cracks can appear as raised lines across Washington's portrait or the eagle on the reverse, while cuds appear as large blobs where part of the die has broken away. These give the coin a distinct look that immediately signals something unusual. Another valuable error in the 1998 P quarter is the transitional or wrong planchet strike, where the design of the quarter ends up being struck on a metal blank intended for another denomination, such as a nickel, dime, or even a foreign coin blank. These wrong planchet errors are among the most sought after because they combine rarity, minting history, and the sheer oddity of holding a coin that should not exist. When authenticated, they can be worth hundreds of thousands and in the most spectacular cases millions, contributing to the $5.7 million valuation for the finest examples of the 1998 P error quarters. And of course, let's not forget broad strike errors where the collar that normally shapes the coin's rim fails, causing the coin to spread out larger and flatter than usual. Collectors love these because they distort the familiar image of Washington into something entirely new, a coin that is instantly recognizable as an error. Then there are struck-through errors where a piece of debris, cloth, or grease becomes lodged between the die and the planchet during striking, leaving an impression of the foreign object embedded in the coin. A 1998 P quarter with such an error becomes a miniature time capsule of the minting process gone wrong. And all these types of errors contribute to a growing fascination with the 1998 P quarter. Now, why does such a coin reach values as high as $5.7 million? The answer lies in rarity, condition, demand, and the specific nature of the error. Coin collectors and investors chase the most dramatic and rarest mistakes, especially when they are in high-grade condition, meaning they have little to no wear from circulation. A 1998 P quarter with a dramatic off-center strike or struck on the wrong planchet in near-perfect condition can become the centerpiece of a collection, sparking bidding wars at auctions that push the price into the millions. Stories circulate of collectors paying unbelievable sums for just such coins, transforming them into legendary pieces of modern numismatics. Another factor is the sheer historical significance. 1998 was one of the final years before the introduction of the state quarters program in 1999, which completely changed the face of the quarter series. So the 1998 issues represent the end of an era, and an error coin from that year bridges the old and the new in a way that excites collectors. Imagine holding in your hand a coin that not only slipped through the strict quality controls of the U.S. Mint but also came from the very last year of the traditional eagle reverse design before 50 states began to appear on the quarters. That dual significance only magnifies its appeal, and the psychological aspect cannot be overlooked. The idea that something so small, something you could once find in your pocket, could now be worth $5.7 million captures the imagination of people everywhere, from seasoned numismatists to casual treasure hunters searching through their change. And as more stories emerge about discoveries of valuable error quarters in circulation or in old collections, the mystique grows, fueling more people to check their coins. So the legend of the 1998 P quarter continues to grow with each passing year. Auction houses record staggering sales, private collectors guard their examples with pride, and newcomers to the hobby dream of stumbling upon one by chance. To sum it all up, the 1998 P quarter dollar coin is not just a piece of money, it is a symbol of how mistakes and imperfections can transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. Its errors ranging from double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, die cracks, cuds, wrong planchet strikes, broad strikes, and struck-throughs all contribute to its rarity and value. And in the right condition these coins can and have fetched as much as $5.7 million, making them some of the most valuable modern quarters ever known. And that brings us to the end of our exploration today. Thank you for watching and joining us on this numismatic journey. If you enjoyed learning about the astonishing value hidden in a 1998 P quarter, then make sure to like this video, subscribe to our channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories about rare coins and treasures that might just be hiding in plain sight. Today we are going to explore in extraordinary depth the story of the 1988 D quarter dollar coin that has stunned the numismatic community and collectors worldwide by reaching an estimated value of $5.24 million, and although at first this may sound unbelievable for what was once a simple 25-cent piece, the reasons behind its immense value become clear when we carefully examine the errors, mistakes, striking anomalies, and the unique circumstances that allowed such an extraordinary coin to exist. And in this journey we will explore every detail of the Denver Mint production in 1988, the pressure under which millions of quarters were struck, the quality control processes that sometimes failed, the different categories of errors that appeared on coins of this era, the specific mistakes linked to the 1988 D issue, the way collectors discovered them, and the endless possibilities that contribute to the coin's immense value, and we will look at why such pieces are not only financially significant but also historically and educationally meaningful, making them a cornerstone of modern coin collecting. And to begin, we must set the scene in 1988 at the Denver Mint, one of the busiest mints in the United States, where billions of coins were being struck for circulation, and with machines running at high speed day and night, the chances for striking mishaps and planchet errors increased. And although the mint had strict quality control, no system is perfect, and the tiniest flaw in a die, the smallest misfeat of a planchet, or even a mechanical failure in the collar could result in an error coin slipping through into circulation. And the 1988 D quarter dollar is remarkable because it is linked to several categories of errors, some of which are common in general but exceedingly rare when combined on the same coin, creating a one-of-a-kind specimen that collectors prize above almost anything else. And one of the first categories of error we must discuss is the double die error, where the coin design is accidentally impressed twice at slightly different angles, creating a ghostly doubled appearance especially visible on lettering such as Liberty, Indiana God We Trust, or the date, and some 1988 D quarters show clear doubling, making them highly collectible. And then there are off-center strikes where the dies strike the planchet incorrectly positioned so that part of the design is missing and part of the blank surface remains exposed, and when the off center is dramatic but still shows the date and mint mark, it becomes especially valuable. And then there are clip planchet errors where part of the coin is missing in a crescent shape because the blank metal disc was punched out too close to the edge of the sheet. And although minor clips exist in many years, a major clip combined with other errors makes for a spectacular rarity, and the 1988 D is known to harbor such oddities. And another fascinating mistake involves broad strikes, which happen when the collar that normally shapes the coin fails, causing the metal to spread outward, giving the coin a distorted and wider appearance. And if a coin has both a broad strike and a double die, its uniqueness skyrockets, and this is why certain 1988 D quarters are so spectacularly valuable. And die cracks are another hallmark of this issue, where the hardened steel dies begin to fracture under pressure, leaving raised lines on the coin that sometimes appear like lightning bolts or scars. And dramatic die cracks that extend across the face can be stunning and add enormous collectible appeal. And in rare cases, cuds form when a piece of the die actually breaks away, leaving a blank raised blob on the coin surface. And examples of 1988 D quarters with large cuds are known, and their dramatic appearance captivates collectors. And when we combine all these possibilities, we begin to understand why certain specimens are appraised in the millions. And it is not just about the errors themselves but about the rarity of finding them in high-grade condition, because circulation quickly wears down details and reduces desirability. But the few surviving in pristine or near-mint state with these errors intact are the true treasures that command multi-million-dollar bids at auction. And another possibility adding to the intrigue of the 1988 D quarter is the existence of transitional errors, where leftover planchets from previous years or compositions get accidentally used, and transitional errors are among the rarest in numismatics, and some reports suggest that odd-weight 1988 D quarters may exist, possibly struck on planchets intended for other denominations, and if verified, these pieces are virtually priceless. And the role of grading cannot be overlooked, because professional grading by institutions like PCGS and NGC certifies authenticity, documents the error, and assigns a grade that can mean the difference between a few thousand and a few $1,000,000, and coins with provenance from famous collections or prestigious auction houses gain even more value because pedigree adds intangible prestige. And one certified example of a 1988 D quarter with multiple dramatic errors is what has been linked to the extraordinary valuation of $5.24 million, and beyond the technical reasons lies the human fascination with imperfection. For in a world where billions of coins are mass-produced to exacting standards, it is the rare flawed survivor that captures imagination, because it represents the unpredictable nature of manufacturing and the mystery of chance, and collectors love to own a piece of that unpredictability, a reminder that even in a world of machines, mistakes happen, and those mistakes can become treasures. And the 1988 D quarter is the perfect case study of how errors become opportunities, how accidents become treasures, and how something as ordinary as a quarter can become legendary. And when we explore the value, it is important to understand the law of supply and demand, for while millions of ordinary 1988 D quarters exist and remain only worth face value, the handful with extraordinary errors are so few in number that demand among wealthy collectors far exceeds supply, pushing prices into the millions. and as collectors compete in auctions, each bidding war raises the profile of the coin and cements its legendary status. And this is why the story continues to spread across coin forums, news outlets, and collector circles. Making the 1988 D-quarter a coin of folklore, and when people hear about a 25-cent piece worth $5.24 million, it sparks curiosity and drives more collectors to check their change. And though the odds are small, the possibility fuels the excitement of the hobby, and this excitement adds to value itself because demand grows with every story told. And historically we have seen other era coins fetch astronomical sums, such as the 1955 double die cent, the 1937 D three-legged buffalo nickel, or the 2000 Sacagawea mule dollar, and the 1988 D-quarter with its multi-million-dollar valuation now joins that elite group. And what makes this coin so unique is the combination of errors, the rarity of survival, the pristine condition, and the perfect storm of collector interest. And when considering all the possibilities, it becomes clear that the coin is not just an accident but a piece of American history, a symbol of how even the smallest details matter, and a reminder that treasure can be found in the most ordinary places. And as collectors continue to search, new discoveries may emerge, adding further layers of intrigue, and perhaps one day another specimen will surface to rival the $5.24 million coin, but until then it remains one of the most astonishing modern rarities, inspiring both seasoned numismatists and beginners alike to keep searching, learning, and appreciating the beauty of coins. And with that, we wrap up this in-depth journey into the story of the 1988 D-quarter dollar, a coin worth big money, a coin made priceless by its errors and mistakes, and a coin that proves once again that history, rarity, and imperfection create the most extraordinary treasures. So if you enjoyed this exploration of numismatic wonder, remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and stay tuned for more incredible stories of coins that continue to surprise the world with their hidden value.